So this morning we are doing our webinar on to use or not to use and training aids in the water. So some of you might already be using training aids in the water, some of you might not do, and you may be looking for to add them to your training program or your swim program, or maybe you're just intrigued just to see what I have to say with regards to using them or not using them. This is not going to be explaining anything about using noodles or kick floats or pool buoys or anything like that. This is specifically for a training aid in the water. So I see that noodles and things are an addition and the equipment that you would normally use anyway. So that's what we're going to talk about, or I will be talking about today. So I wanted to welcome you all. Thank you for coming and spending this next half an hour with me. We are coming from all over the world, so I appreciate it. I am here in the UK. It's a bit of a dull day today, but hopefully there is some sunshine where you are. So what will I be covering this morning? So I'm just going to do a brief introduction to who I am. Some of you don't know who I am and where I cut basically what we do. And so I'm going to do briefly about that. Then we're going to have a look about what training aids there are already on the market, why I specifically or why we use these training aids, and actually what do I use and why. And then if you stay to the end, there's going to be a little bonus for you. So I'm Helen Hughes and I am a wife and I am a mother. This is Harry, who's 5.5. And here is my sister. She is the co-founder and co-owner of Mini Water Adventurers. So we are a sister duo working together, which is fantastic. So just a little bit about my journey. This will be my 28th year of teaching. I started back when I was 14 years old. And then when I was able to get qualified, I did. This shows my age. Got qualified through the Amateur Swimming Association. I then also I have 2 degrees. I have a degree in sports science and I'm also a qualified teacher as well. I have a postgraduate certificate in education. I was a sports science lecturer for a number of years also teaching swimming throughout that period of time as well. So I've not stopped. I've been probably going in and out of it, but non-stop in this swimming world for a very long time. I have lived in Florida, so I actually had my mobile swim school in Florida for the best part of 6 years, where I'd pack up my car and off I go, and I traveled all over the Indian River County. I was in the east coast of Vero Beach, where it was absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And then we actually was able to find a house where I could build my own pool. So then I became home-based, and I was a home-based swim school for the last 4 years before we moved back to the UK. I was a mum. I became a mum, so I was a stay-at-home mum for a while. And then was when the time was right, I decided that we were going to start up a swim school here. I wanted to continue working for myself, and I wanted to stay in an independent swim school. So Little Fish, Big Fish was born. And within sort of the next sort of couple of months, we actually rebranded because we have lots of ideas as to what Mini Water Adventurers is offering. Not only just are we a swim school, but we also offer a lot of resources for swim school owners and swimming teachers. So within the last year, unfortunately, a lot of us have been in the same predicament of not being able to be teaching, and therefore we've extended our resources and spent that time of where we've designed online programs and also some I call them epic lesson plans, of where it's all creative ideas as to what you can do in your swimming lessons. And I'm also the proud designer of the Orca swim trainer. So just to give you a bit of a background as to why it feeds into what I'm talking about today, is that our swim program, the SWIM, stands for something. So We are a play-based swim school, therefore we actually design our program such that it's a little bit there is sort of these play-based keywords now coming around, but we actually have no specific curriculum that we stick by, and it's actually based on child-centered. And the way I mean child-centered is that we really go by the child individually. So that's why we don't have a set curriculum, because we feel that it's really important, based on science, that is a playful program. So a number of people, last year I did do a number of workshops about our swim program and why these 4 zones are extremely important with how a child, how it's important, why, how a child learns, not necessarily just what they're going to be learning. So the SWIM actually is our 4 swim zones, and this is exactly the reason why we use the training aids that I'm going to be talking about today. So just to let you know that the program that we have is an alternative progressive educational program. So it is based, so I have researched a lot of child development over the years, and it is based on the EPIC activities, which is the explore, play, investigate and create activities, which means that we are giving the child the space to explore in the water. So we are not a survival program. We do add in safety, the safety skills, which I will later explain in a little bit as to where all this fits together. But the main important key point I want to say to you is that we are a play-based program, and this is why we do use these training aids. So I know why I use training aids and why I think they are extremely beneficial to swimming lessons. You will have your own opinion, which is absolutely great, and I have been using training aids for a very long time now. Probably around sort of 15 years. In the last 15 years, that's what I've been doing, and I've been using the similar sort of system since 2009. So I will later explain that. But from your experience, do you find that possibly some of the children are struggling constantly, that you feel as though that they may be, you know, feel as though that's some of the words that the child says is that I feel as though I'm falling all the time, or I'm dropping all the time, I feel as though, you know, I'm sinking? Or are they so tired because, bless them, they're having to work so hard in the water when they don't have any assistance, if they're not using noodles or you know, any other type of equipment in the water? Do you find that they tire quite quickly, which is maybe why we have 30-minute lessons, or maybe why we only have you know, maybe some people do 15-20 minutes lessons? Is it because they're getting tired? Do you have, and I've experienced it, and this is you know, a little bit more of my forte, if you like, is that do you have a lot of children who are really scared of the water? Are they nervous, really anxious, or do they have these negative thoughts about water? Maybe something has happened to them, and they have this fear. You then also have the extreme. Do you have children that are so confident that they are just, you know, they're like a caged animal once they come to swimming lessons, and they are raring to go? Even from a very young age, I've experienced, and I'm sure you have too, is that around about 2 years old, or even sometimes a little bit earlier than that, some of them are really raring to go and wanting, they're pushing off, and they're like, I can do this. And do they have the skills and the strength to be able to do that? No, they don't. And also, do you have some children that are requiring this extra assistance in the water? I have a number of children that have physical they need assistance in the water, and are you able to give this to them? So, and also adding to all that, depending on where you are located in this world, in this current time, are you having to teach poolside? Can you not get in the water at all with them? So you're having to use different strategies. Are you having to wear a mask? No, seriously, but are you having to wear a mask, a visor? Are you having to stay at a distance? And are you still searching for the right equipment to use in your lessons? And you just, you know, you've tried these things, and you're just still searching. Are the children lining up on the side and they're having to wait their turn? Which means some children do get very naughty because they're bored. So based on this, this is why I do use a training aid, and I use a specific one that I have tried and tested for many years. But what have you tried and tested? I have tried water wings. I had tried them. I learned, well, I had them. I had water wings back in the day when I was 2 years old. And I remember them being restrictive. They literally are bobbing there like this, aren't they? And it just really isn't that helpful in the water whatsoever. So I'm just going through my notes to make sure I have saying everything correctly. And these float jackets, I've looked at them, I've tested them, I tried them. I find that they just ride up right up across up to their necks. They are really uncomfortable. This girl's almost like forcing a little bit of a smile on her because she's thinking, yay, but no, they just feel really uncomfortable. It comes right up to their necks, and it's basically all or nothing. So they have it on, and if they take it off, then it's one extreme to the other. There is nothing progressive about this. There are some ones of where they have the cylindrical floats around them, but again, if they're not taken out in the correct order, it's bulky, it's not tight, it's just, I didn't get on with these whatsoever. And then these back floats, I did try these, and in fact I did try these specific ones thinking, okay, well there's 4 different levels here, but then the straps were really tight around their body. It would hurt them, and the most important thing for me was that it really felt as if they were forcing their face forward. Now, from all the years of my experience of teaching swimming, whenever I see a child doing what I call the turtleneck, I know that they are uncomfortable in the water, and I felt that these back floats did not hinder, but they didn't ensure that the child's alignment was correct in the water through the stages of learning. It can cause a lot of issues for their neck, and then eventually down their spine. And also, I also known that they were getting sore with their neck because they were constantly fighting. Now, how I can explain the difference, or how I can explain the comparison to, is that as ladies, maybe some men might do as well, but if you feel as when you're wearing high heels, so if you're wearing high heels, you are at an angle such that you're forced forward, but your body then compensates to keep yourself backwards. So in effective terms, it's actually not good physiologically on your body, because you are forcing yourself to stay upright rather than because you're at such an angle that you are compensating for that. And I feel that these back floats do that. So basically, we have the game changer. I feel that this has just completely transformed my program, and that it has, over the years, like I've said, I've tried and tested this for a very long time, and it just works amazingly. And I will explain a little bit as to what this is, and I'm actually going to show you a little video in a little bit, but I want to introduce you to the Orca swim trainer. And I have designed this, and it's specifically and purposely put together based on what I have tried and tested over the years, and this just, I think, is the game changer. It is the game changer. So like I said, I have tested this on hundreds of children, not only here in the UK, but over in the US and Florida, where I was living for all those years. I hope this works, so bear with me, but I'm going to would like you to just watch this quick video. Hi, I'm Helen Hughes, co-founder of Mini Water Adventurers and the developer of the Orca swim trainer. I have been a swim teacher for 27 years, and in that time I have taught hundreds of children to swim. Currently on the market, the swimming aids just really concern me. Water wings restrict arm movement, the float jacket comes up to their chin, and the back float forces the child forward, and that's why I developed the Orca swim trainer. The Orca swim trainer is designed to encourage confidence, independence, strength, and endurance all at the same time, as well as having a ton of fun in the water. The Orca swim trainer is a perfect all-in-one learn to swim aid from paddler to confident swimmer, ideal for infants to preschool age. The Orca swim trainer offers adjustable buoyancy, which your child won't be overly conscious of being slowly decreased over time, so they can focus on swimming skills and enjoying themselves while their ability develops. It provides a peace of mind for you and helps them to enjoy the water for longer each time you go swimming. This one is so much better than the other ones I've tried because it's all around the body rather than getting in the way of the arm. Just gives them that reassurance, and me actually, because I know he'll float. The swim trainer has changed Kira's confidence a lot. She's very independent of the girl. She doesn't want to be held. We're looking forward to getting one. Brilliant. There are a couple of other videos that I have on YouTube. There's one also with the technical information in there. So if you're wanting to know a little bit more information with regards to that, then that's on my YouTube channel. But in brief, what I just want to explain to you is that the Orca swim trainer is this perfect all-in-one learn to swim aid from paddler to confident swimmer. So normally I start and explain a little bit of where I add this into my program, and it can be easily fitted into yours as well, is that around about 2 years old, or I have had as young as or as early as 18 months old. So again, this is the time of where I know is the time when they need it is when they are pushing off their parents. So as soon as they're like, right, I'm needing to go off here, I need to go on my own, that is when this is the best time to add it. And then around about 5 years old, this is when they will have graduated, and I'll show you the graduation system in a little bit as to of how they progress through to then have it so that they have so they are out of it. So it really does change the way a child learns to swim, and having this training aid truly is a training aid. And it really enables them to enjoy the water independently for longer. So they're not having to rely on their parent holding them, or they're not relying on the whole lesson of using a noodle, or not that I would use a kickboard at this stage, but they are able to be free and move around, which is really important in the water. Key points which I was looking for and didn't find, so this is why I've added it, is that they have adjustable straps. So although you have 3 different sizes, you have a small, medium and large, you are able then, depending on the the child themselves. It also then ensures that the core area, so around the specific area of what needs buoyancy, which is their core, that is when it's able to stay tight. So rather than the other ones that were coming up around their necks, this is enabling them to stay tight. There is a 9 float pad graduation system. So there are 5 floats in the back, 4 in the front, and you're able to take them out as and when is needed. And that goes into our training program with that to explain when you take those out. So like I said, the float pads are located around the chest and the back, which is where it's so important that they're needing not just the back or just, you know, they're needing it all around. They have no core strength whatsoever when they are younger. Therefore, they need this buoyancy in this particular area. It's extremely easy for them to flip from their front to the backs. So I've had many children that have decided that, oh, they don't want to be on their front now, they want to go on their back. So it's really easy that transition is very easy for them to do. And then also the removal of those float pads allows a child to eventually swim unaided in this natural swimming position. So I'll show you the chart in a minute as to what I mean. As you can see here, there are some float pad pockets. So if they're like, for instance, at the end of swimming lessons, I do my safety skills where they don't have any floats in. So they are learning that, you know, obviously when we do jumping in, swimming to the side, or if we fall in and they're learning to react of coming back to the side or to safety, then those floats are easily being able to take out. And those little pockets there, you open up and you can take the float pads out individually when you're taking them out. So for me, there are 3 key points of what I look for in a product like this of using these training aids. What is the body mechanical side of things? So are they aligned in the water? Does it help them be in the correct position in the water? Also physiologically, so how are they being able to stay, to get strong? How are they able to increase their cardiovascular, and how is it able then to grow with them as opposed to one or nothing? And then psychological for me is massive. If they feel that they can do it, if they feel that they are happy and they feel safe, it's almost like a little blanket. We do it with our animals, so why don't we do it with our children? You know, they feel that having this on has that mindset for them. So for me, the psychological side of things is really, really important. So I have 4 stages in my swimming program. I have 7 levels, and stage 2 and 3 is where I then use the Orca swim trainer. So stage 1 is just when they're babies and they're starting to get acclimated to the water. Then they're learning to swim. Stage of 2, which is around level 3, is where you are then adding in the Orca swim trainer. And then they continue through the graduation system as to when they then get through to stage 3, and I'll explain in a little bit. And then stage 4, which is around level 7, so age 7, is when they are then doing their complete IMs. So they are learning all their complex swim skills. So they will be out of the swim trainer before they then learn their big arms, their big their actual specific complex swimming skills. They do not use this when they are learning that. They should have already done that. So the stage 2 is that learning to swim. So this is when you start the Orca swim trainer graduation system. So you're focusing on the child getting more confident in the water, and then them starting to get that feeling of developing their skill set. So the blowing of the bubbles, so helping with their face submersions and allowing their legs to come up behind them, and the paddle stroke. Then with the stage 3, with this is when you actually start taking out the float pads. So at this stage, they are confident in the water, they're becoming more acclimated, more comfortable with putting their faces down in the water. And then this is when they then start bringing their heads forwards, and you can start taking them out progressively. So they're not having to work so hard, but you're not making it so easy for them. So this is the graduation system. So you see them starting right with their parents holding on. And then as they progressively get stronger and stronger and more confident in the water, they then, and it's amazing to see the difference, the transition from when they are upright thinking, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Compared to then taking a breath and then face down, legs up and kick, of where they just naturally do it. And I just absolutely love watching the transition through, because I just know that the end result, what that will be. However, the parents don't, because they haven't experienced it, but I do, and it's amazing. So at stage 3, this is when they will then be out. It's a little bit tricky because the swimming costume here is the same color. But at stage 3, that is when they would be completely out of the 9 floats, and that they will then be swimming in the correct position. And the little boy should have his face down in the water, because that's more of the stroke technique, obviously, that they actually get to. So why, based on those 3 points of the mechanical, the physiological, and then the psychological, this is why it's really important that these 3 key elements are focused on. So basically, I massively think that improvement requires practice. So for them, the more they move, the more they learn. So that's based in one of my memory movements in the swim zones, is that the more you're able to the more you're able to keep them moving in the water, then that means that they're practicing those skills. So it's really important that you give them that support to do that, as opposed to them being, struggling in the water and not being able to focus on the swim skill sets that they should be learning. And also enables them to learn the correct way of doing things, rather than picking up these poor sort of poor fundamentals, and then you have to then later correct. So it gives them that time and that space, and for you to actually help manipulate that to do it correctly in the correct way. So then removing the float pads when the child is ready, and now enables you as the teacher to customize their buoyancy. So if you're noticing that it's really easy for them in the water, then of course you start seeing, they're really high on the water, and then they start moving in the correct position. So then you're able to take the buoyancy levels out. You don't want to take out too soon, because you don't want it to drop, so it defeats the object of having it. So you need to make sure that it's taken out in the correct timing, which is where our training comes in as well, of getting the timing right. So basically, the child is not going to be aware really as to what you're doing. Because I used to, with some, I used to have to sneakily take out the floats, because they'd be like, oh my God, I've got less on me, oh no. And you didn't want that psychological point to hinder it, rather than give them a benefit. So a lot of the children thrive on taking them out and enjoying, you can call them bones, you can call them whatever you want to call them, to just show them that they're moving forward. And then physiologically, the straps are adjustable, it grows with them, so it lasts them for a little bit longer. It's a second skin, so it is part of them. It's not all or nothing. And like I said, it's tight around the areas that it needs to be, and then it supports them in the right places. And a huge thing for us is that it builds their strength and their endurance. So it goes from them holding hands with their parents to them then becoming independent in the water, where they're like, right, I've got this. And I do have a number of videos on my Mini Water Adventurers Facebook page of where you can see some of these beautiful children moving and being, these faces just make it for me. They're smiles, they're happy, they are enjoying themselves, and at the same time they are constantly moving. And then they get to their graduation. So then they are strong, confident, independent swimmers. And that's what I feel that that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we're here for them to be. So I work with a lot of nervous children, and it's highly effective for children who are nervous. Like I said, it gives them that second skin, so it almost gives them this confidence blanket for them to put on when they put them on. It's amazing to see the difference. In fact, probably more so, I especially in Florida, I had a lot of children that came from other programs that were very forceful, and they unfortunately had a very bad experience. So this again helped them transform them to start loving the water. I also then have very confident children of where they are just raring to go. They were like, get off me, I want to do this. But unfortunately, without it, they can't do it because we do have to hold them. And the little girl in the middle, she kept pushing off her mum, and her mum was just like, she just wants to go. How can we just enable her to go? And then this is when we were able to give her the Orca. She was a little bit too young in this picture, but we needed to, in fact, it would have been this time that she would be in it. So and little Ottie here, who is pushing off her dad wanting to go. Then we also have the learning and physical challenged children who need assistance in the water. Without it, it's a lot of pressure on their parents or you as well to keep them active and moving in the water to help them too. I have severely autistic children. I have children, unfortunately this little girl in the middle has ataxia, so she has no movement in her body whatsoever. So she needs that help in the water. Then this little boy as well has no speech, no movement, he can't walk, and then this also enables him to feel he was so happy when he gets in the water. It just transforms it for them. Then also it's really important body awareness. We have, I don't know if you've experienced it, but I do, we either have the children that are heavy, their density of their body is such that they are sinkers, not floaters, and this also helps them so they don't get frustrated in the water, they can keep moving. And also this little boy where the mum is also having the noodle, she was absolutely petrified of the water, so it also gives her peace of mind to know that it's not it's not going to do a negative effect on her by making sure that she's there for her child as well. In the middle picture, this little boy, the boy on the, depending on which side, closest to me in the water, he unfortunately was told in his last swimming lessons that he needed to use his arms more than his legs. So this is why we're talking about undoing things of what they were taught incorrectly. And he had what I call, unfortunately, lazy legs, because he would not move his legs. Therefore, if they don't move their legs, then what happens? They sink. So unfortunately, so he needed the buoyancy to help him keep him up in the water so he could practice. He was getting so frustrated, bless him, that he couldn't move, and this was able to help him. And then this other little boy is called Harry. He would just decided that every lesson he wanted to roll around, he wanted to see where and how his body moves, and this enabled him to do it. And I find it absolutely hilarious because he was brilliant. I loved it. So in conclusion, the reason why do we use or do we not use training aids? I truly believe that yes, if you use the correct one, it really can be a huge benefit to teaching your swimmers. If you use, especially this Orca swim trainer, in the correct way, the results that the child learns faster, and they are learning in a way such that they become so strong, and it's amazing to see the difference. I used to teach the other way, so I understood without anything, and now I couldn't. It just transforms your swimming program. They are so independent in the water. They're able to think for themselves, because you're asking them constantly during the lessons what they're doing, where they're going, what's their purpose. So, and like I said, I do take the floats out, so they do their safety skills at the end of the lessons. They also do their independent swims without the floats in as well, and I find that's very important as well to do that. Like you saw in the video, the little girl Hira, she was also swimming without it, so that's a massive thing as well, that we do it as part of it as well. So I wanted to make sure that it's clear that this is a second skin, that it is buoyant. It's buoyant in the area that a child needs, which is the core. That's where they struggle. So that's there. It gives them the freedom to go off and learn their swim skill sets that we're teaching them. It is progressive, so it's not all or nothing. It grows with the child. The child does not know that they are going through that graduation system. So it's psychologically and physiologically amazing. And it is adjustable. So for me, this all, like I said, it was the game changer. It changes the whole way that my swim program works. And it, I really feel that if you use this in swimming lessons, then it's going to be amazing, really. So I know I'm really strapped for time, but is this for your swim school? I feel as though I have talked just too much about, no, not too much about it, but is this really for your swim school? We have this Orca Ambassador program if you're interested in doing it, and Catherine will be your lady to go to talk to her about all this. I have had a number of people in Australia interested in this, and people in America, and they want to be the sole ambassador in the area, so we do offer that. Like I said, I have lived in Florida for 10 years. I've been to Australia, I've been to South Africa, I've traveled all over Europe. I learned to swim in Spain. I used to go to Spain every year, so I understand the importance of safety. And if you do a survival program, I totally get it, but with our swim program, it is a diverse and progressive program, so this really benefits that style of teaching if that's what you do. So the bonus for this for the purchases is that we will give off a single item 10%. These will be ready in May. We are in a manufacturing stage. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we had a little bit of a standstill. They are now going, so it's all full force, and I'm so excited. I can't believe it. I'm ready to scream and shout about this now because it really is a game changer. So like I said, I'm going to be online in just over an hour. If you have any questions about this, I wanted to say a massive big thank you, and just to leave you with that, I was taking my son to school this morning. He goes to forest school, and I told him that I was going to be giving this talk to you today, and he said, "Wow, mummy," he said, "I love my Orca." He says, "It really makes me happy because I'm able to enjoy my swimming." He says, and I'm sure all those other swimming teachers will make a lot of other children very happy too. So I just wanted to leave that with you, and that we do make a lot of children very happy. We are excited over here in the UK that the swimming pools will be opening up very soon. So I wish you all the best for that. And thank you very much for coming on today. And like I said, if you have any questions, then I'll be over in my Facebook page to answer those. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to stop sharing now. And let's see if I can